please welcome Australian netball champion and Culture City board member, Renee Ingalls.
I was actually expecting a little bit more of an original song, Julian, this year. Welcome all. It is so wonderful to be back in the room with you this year. As a mum to a son on the spectrum, I carry a constant, quiet fear. A fear of a world that might not always understand my son. A world that may not understand our family. A fear that his differences could be met with judgment rather than acceptance. A fear that at times he feels alone in who he is. And then something extraordinary happens. Something that chips away at that inner fear of mine. It's when a person stands not only in front of her tribe mates, but on one of the biggest stages in the world and chooses to be completely, unapologetically herself. It's when, in front of millions, she takes a deep breath and she says the words, "I have autism." In that moment, a nation listens. Stereotypes crack. And people like my Jacob are not hidden in the shadows, but they are celebrated in the light. This is the power of vulnerability. This is the power of representation. And this is why tonight we honour a woman whose courage has inspired a moment and a movement. Season 48 Survivor finalist, ladies and gentlemen, your Culture City Person of the Year, Eva Erickson.
I have autism. I was diagnosed when I was very, very young. Doctors told my parents that I would never live independently, that I would never hold a job, that at most I could hope to marry someone else with autism.
No quit in Survivor. Eva pulls it out for logging.
When I did finish it, all of a sudden everything just came over me and I got extremely overwhelmed and I started screaming and everyone saw that, and I know nobody else knew what was going on, but Joe knew because I needed someone in this game to understand what was going on in case something happened. So I've never viewed my autism as a roadblock to success. It's not something to work around. It's just part of who I am. There's nothing bad about it.
I don't feel embarrassed because everyone around me was so understanding. They're nodding, they're looking at me, not with pity, but seeing that I'm strong. And I felt so accepted.
I'm Eva. If you are not familiar with Survivor, where have you been the last 25 years? If you're wondering, wow, Survivor's still on TV? Yeah, we're hitting the 50th season coming up. I was on season 48, which aired like this past spring, and I feel to win this award, I had to have set out to do something great. But I didn't set out to do something great for the autism community. I set out to win Survivor. But with everything else I do in my life, I put 100% of who I am into it. And part of who I am is being a person who is on the autism spectrum. So I was the first openly autistic Survivor contestant, but I didn't think about that going into the game. I thought that I was going to use my athletic abilities, I was going to use my brain, that this is who I am and that is what I wanted to give to the game. But I think what I gave was something so much more. I gave my entire heart. And As you just saw from the clip that came from episode 5, which is now nominated for an Emmy, when I got in this competition, there came a time where I got very overstimulated. In most of my life, my autism is an invisible disability that people don't know about because I am very successful and I am able to communicate. I'm able to come up here and speak what is going on in my head. So people don't think that there's anything going on under the surface. But what they don't know is since I was 1 year old, I have been going through therapy that doctors told my parents when I was diagnosed with autism that I would never live independently, I would never hold a job, that at most they could hope that maybe I would marry somebody else who had autism too. And my parents, I was so very lucky, they were on the same page about how they wanted to go forward, that they didn't look at this as a stopping point. They looked at this as a way to start. They say, okay, we know you have autism, how are we going to help you move forward? Because we want to give you the best life you can have in whatever form that takes. And now, thanks to all of the amazing support they provided me, putting me in so many therapies, always looking to find opportunities for me to thrive and grow, I've been able to not only live independently, but to attend Brown, where I am getting my PhD. Where I am getting my PhD in engineering and fluid and thermal science, and where I met my amazing boyfriend who does not have autism, but has been an amazing support with all of the challenges I face. And further, I went out on Survivor with all of this, knowing that this is part of who I am and that I'd be thrown into the most depleting situation of my life, and that the nation would be watching. Millions of people at home watching this hit TV show could see me at my worst. But autism is not something that was ever going to stop me from getting what I wanted. And I wanted to be on Survivor. And so in this game, I wanted to set myself up for success. Survivor is a game of lying. And when you're someone like me who cannot read when people are lying to me, I can't read social cues the same way other people can, I was worried that if I shared that I had autism, that people would treat me different in this game. But I knew that I needed to advocate for what I needed, and that my best chance of success in this extremely competitive, intense game was to have support. And so I advocated very early on in the game to my #1 ally, Joe Hunter, who is with me here tonight. And I shared this part of my life. I told him my story. I told him about my autism. And I told him what to look for if I was getting overstimulated. I told him the signs. I told him how he could help me. I explained that when I get overstimulated, I cannot communicate what I need. But the things that help me come down are compression, squeezing my hands, squeezing my body, reminding me to breathe, help me get grounded. That this is something that I can get through. Don't ever let me be taken out of a situation because I can get through this. I've done it in my whole life. But it helps when I have others to support me. And he took this to heart. And so in that clip you watched, when I got extremely overstimulated from failing again and again and again on this one stupid table maze, Joe watched, and he saw this from another tribe. He watched this happen, and he was ready to act. But he knew that I could do it because I can always do it. Because autism doesn't stop me, it just makes things a little more challenging. And I finished that table maze. But the second I did, I erupted. I had what I call an episode, commonly called a meltdown, but I've never liked the term meltdown because I'm very visual. I think of a snowman melting, and you can't put that back together. But when I have an episode, I know that I can get through it. It's going to be really hard, but I can do it. And Joe recognized this, and when given the opportunity, he jumped in with exactly the support I needed in that moment. And through this bond of two people being their most vulnerable in front of America, in front of the world, so many people watch Survivor, we were able to demonstrate that it is okay to ask for help, that it is okay to advocate for yourself, to be different, to have challenges that are different than what others face. It doesn't make you lesser, that you can be strong and still need help. And so when I came down from that episode and I finally had the chance to tell everybody else on that island, everyone who had seen me as being just this jock athlete girl, who I truly am and that this is part of my life, everyone looked at me with acceptance. They wanted to understand. And I think especially having this amazing organization like Culture City, who is showing the world more about invisible disabilities, it opens up understanding for so many people. I'm so grateful to have had the chance to represent the autism community on this scale. I just went in to play Survivor, but I was able to have so much more impact by simply being myself. And I'm so proud of that, and I am so happy to have been able to change the lives of others who were not comfortable to explain their diagnosis, not comfortable to ask for help, and show that you can be strong without being independent. So thank you so much for this award. Thank you for being here tonight.
Goes a bang, bang, bang till my feet do the same. But something about you, something